You're watching the Skateboarding Bros Show. Stories from the pioneers of skateboarding about the history and the fun of the sport we love.
Hey guys, thank you for stopping in and watching the Skateboarding Bros Show. I want to take a note to talk about Boards for Bros before we start the show. Boards for Bros has been our favorite charity now for since we started 4 or 5 years ago. And it's just the end of the year here in the States, 2024. And it brings to mind Boards for Bros because it was 18 years ago when a couple of guys at skate park in Tampa and the Bro Bowl came up with this idea to get skateboards for children who can't afford their own. And that was Paul Schmidt and all the guys from Spot. And now it's 501c3, and we continue to help people and therefore help ourselves. It's an amazing thing. And if you have a skateboard and you're not going to use it anymore, give it to somebody who will, or give it to us, or visit Spot and learn about the charity. It's a full tax deductible charity, and we appreciate your help helping us spread Stoke one skateboard at a time. And it's so fucking cool to have Phil with his shades and his helmet there while I'm talking about it. So thank you very much. And what we're doing is, this is called stretch. This is stalling. So Tim figures out what the hell we're doing. We're having a program tonight where we learn and learn all about a new inductee to the Florida Skateboard Hall of Fame. And one of her friends came along with her. And George is helping us with the stretch here. What do you got there, George?
That's just what Jude was talking about, the Sims Quicksilver.
Woo, woo. Oh my God.
Ankle biter.
Ankle slicer.
It was aluminum with a layer of oak in the middle. His sandwich is laminated 2 strips of aluminum with hard rock oak.
So what was George trying to sell those for in 76?
Oh, in 76. This was actually one of the very first boards that I bought specifically for competition. I think I bought one similar to this that Sims comps on it. This has got bones on it, but the one I bought at Suncoast Surf Shop, I think it was $75.
$75.
As a complete. It had Sims comps and probably tracker mid tracks on it.
So that had to be the Stacy conversation. What are you doing? What are you insane? This is
that's well, it worked for a while. Okay. Anyway, so that was Tim now has control. Still got a stall. Okay. Well, are we recording? We are recording. Let's get rolling then.
Yeah, we can talk. We can do all that. I gotta try to. I honestly, Ed, I can't find where you sent me that thing. If you got it handy, email me again, and I'll run it all. Hey man, I only have. Let's see. I only have 8,000 emails in my phone that I haven't read.
Well, just find some time to answer them each.
No, I just delete them all and then start over.
Hey, Tim, we got somebody special here tonight. Jude Cohen being inducted into the Florida Skateboarding Hall of Fame. What's the deal here? What's going on?
So I am so stoked to see you. I'm so stoked to see you, Jude. I cannot wait to actually meet you in person. And I would love to hear about your story. I've heard, you and I have had conversations, but the world doesn't know your story and doesn't know your background about where are you from? Where did you start? Where did you start?
You're asking me where I started?
Where did you start skateboarding?
Oh my God! I started on my belly. I kind of had to evolve. We were kids. But I think I started when I was 6 or 7, going up and down the sidewalks of North Miami in a little neighborhood called Norwood. And there was the local boys and me, and we just rode our skateboards. We were really little, and these were, with clay wheels, basic boards, worthless kind of things, but it was fun. And by and large, I think, like got the Proline board at 7-Eleven one day, was with my dad. What is it, 1995? And started skateboarding in the high schools at Norland Junior High, Norland Senior High. That's before they would kick us out.
Wait a minute, not
And
1995. It had to be earlier than that, right?
well, boards. Somebody in this group last time we were talking about Proline said that that's what you
I
pay
thought it was
for.
like 1975.
Yeah, you said 95, Judith.
1990. No, I mean I'm talking how much it cost.
Ah,
Oh, yeah.
Oh. It was like that's how much it costs. It's like a kid, I didn't have any money. So so we started riding pro lines, skateboarding in high schools, enjoying there wasn't a whole lot of parks and ramps back then. We had a couple, there's a lot of street riding, a lot of grinding, a lot of downhill, but nothing deadly. And then I think about around 76, I was 16 years old. I started heading over to Hollover Beach, in underpass of the bridge. And you guys have the photos. I think you might have some of the images of it.
I'm trying to get there.
Oh, that place was classic. It was so good because it was just had a great takeoff point, and you grind it all the way down. And sometimes if you went too fast or somebody was kind of new at it, some smart person wrapped the bridge pylons with king size beds, like mattresses, and then strapped it. So if you're going too fast, you just hit it, and you bounced off it.
good idea.
Yeah. And so that was it. I started skateboarding, and then through just happenstance, I met people along the way who kind of guided me. I got some new equipment. My next newest board, which became the love of my life, was a 36-inch Michael Grassley. Michael Grassley was a surfboard shaper out of, I think, the Carolinas, and I have not been able to find his board since. But I had a 36-inch Michael Grassley double ender, so it was point to point. And I'll never forget because it was most skateboards back then were not made like that. He was doing, I mean, this is 1976, 77, and these were the what's it called when you sandwich laminated? Yeah, and I remember it was like a 6-ply laminate, and then he had these extra chunky pieces of laminate where the trucks were. So I had Roadrunner 2s, which were I still love. And slow as shit they are. Kind of slow. Which, to a kid, that's fine. And then it was a 36-inch laminated Micro Grassley tracker wides, Roadrunner 2s.
Quite a setup. So you got on precision bearing. That was your first precision bearings, was Road Rider 2s.
Weren't pro lines with?
Were pro line? I remember pro lines having Chicago trucks and loose ball wheels, but that's
But they weren't clay wheels. They were
they were urethane. Yeah, they were the urethane. It was probably Cadillac Decines or something like that were on the pro lines.
Yes, Cadillacs.
But yeah, I'm not sure if they had. I can't remember when they may have moved over to sealed bearings. But yeah, that was a game changer. Throw in Road Rider 2s, sealed bearings. You were the shit.
Yeah, we loved it, and I knew I had no. So you didn't know what you didn't know. I didn't know any women skateboarding, any girls skateboarding at all, zero. And you didn't know anybody. And meanwhile, there were probably going on in California, Florida, and around the country, around the world. There were bull riding, there was pool riding, there was something else was going on. But for me, where I was in my little enclave, was just going there to Hollover. And eventually, we became we did both surfing and skateboarding for a couple of years, and then by and large, what happened. Oh yeah, so there might have been a time where I think I met this guy. He helped me get that board. Actually, he literally gifted me the Michael Grassley. I don't know why he did it to this day, but I think I was at a contest. I think I was at a skateboarding, and I was at a contest at Scott Park. And I think you can see those photos if they pop up. Albert Koya from the Miami Herald was there. I took a photo, and we're doing some high jumps and stuff like that. And something I don't remember because it was a million years ago. I met the manager of Brewer Skateboards, and they asked me to join the team.
Sweet. So at this point, I'm sure Ellen is thinking about this. Were you wearing shoes or not?
No.
Or were you still skating barefoot?
Well, actually, you see the photos. Yeah, you'll see barefoot. It was weird. I know. I don't do it anymore. But but I was 16. It was common that people didn't wear shoes
Right.
then.
Absolutely. Well, that's awesome.
We can go into Ellen. What Ellen did on La Costa on La Costa at the roadside was just insane. How you slowed it down enough to get off right and not stub the hell out of your toe. Did you stub your toe ever?
Oh yeah, I stubbed my toe a lot.
bloody toe.
It was worth it. I did not like shoes.
I still don't like shoes.
Foot braking. I guess foot braking probably didn't exist.
No, you just run it out.
Oh. And La Costa, they had curbs there, right? So it wasn't, you couldn't go into the dirt. They had like curbs there, if I remember right.
Yeah.
So you couldn't go off this side and jump. And there was no lawns yet because it hadn't been built.
Black Hill had a long flat area towards the end, so you just slow down over time.
And then you just got to walk all the way back up.
There was no green grass.
No, you have cars to take you back up.
You got Cridlin. Yeah, I love that. I missed that. Grabbing the long train of guys behind the cars.
Yeah, I'm holding onto the cars. Yeah.
So you recall any of the faces, Jude, that were at Hallover? Are you in touch with any of those people still, or is that all?
No. I mean, I finally, it doesn't get talked about. I went on a couple skate Facebook groups, and I don't see a lot of conversations about it. I think I heard years later after I stopped living in Florida, I heard they paved it over. They paved over a lot of it. No, I mean, I don't think we were very crew that I did hang out with. We're not extremely, I think, creative enough to find a pool. I think that we were only trying to do those underpasses, and all you did on an underpass, whether it was a highway, was just this heavy duty, steep nothingness. You just.
Oh, we did that plenty up in Pinellas County. I think Edgar got involved in some of those trips.
Yeah,
but we did that as well.
They don't build skate parks with that kind of action anymore. Everything's smoother. It's easier. That was daredevil crap back then. That's good.
Yeah, and I started wearing shoes. I did. I was wearing shoes with the skateboard team with Brewer. We did a demo at that year. We went on a tour, and we did a demo at Disney World. I have fond memories of just skating and not really doing anything. And then we went and did a contest at the first annual, I think it was the ever first skateboard. What do they call it? The national or what do they call that? Yeah. It was a Skateboard City at Port Orange, first Florida Championships, where I competed. I don't think there was one other woman there, or one other girl, excuse me. And I don't really remember her, but I heard she was there because it was kind of like a bit of a gang of people skateboarding along the same track. And you were judged by whatever you did. It was weird. I don't really remember. There were so many people competing, and they had about 60 riders, and I placed 16th.
But they all started at the same time, and
I don't
down that big slopey deal they had there.
Yeah, it was weird. It was weird. Everybody was being judged of like how style or I think they just wanted to have it to be a happening or free for all.
Yeah, come up with something.
Yeah, but there were 58 boys and 2 girls. So
wow.
Yeah.
I skated there in one contest, I remember. So this is 76, 77 time frame.
Yeah.
But I skated there, and I remember we did a flatland slalom, which made no sense. You just pushed and then did like 8 cones or something. And I remember I think they had a freestyle event, but I don't think there was any bull riding or wall
There's no
riding, whatever
bowl
that.
there. That was just a big slopey wall up
Yeah.
the hill, back down, around.
Yeah, but
that's what it was. It was 60 people riding all on the one track, and then a couple of the team members, I believe, placed high. Mike was one of them, and he was a good skater. I think I saw him years later walking across the street by Encinitas surfboards, and Encinitas is where I would move to Cardiff by the Sea. So I was
So allegedly,
yeah
the Port Orange Skateboard City was the first
first.
skate park, or was it Carlsbad in California?
and watch Ellen come off mute now.
Carlsbad, John O'Malley.
Yeah, we should have had John visit the call here. But there was there were others. Somebody gave me a gift for my birthday yesterday about a skateboard that was designed in 1938.
Yeah.
But it's out of France. But I'll introduce it on another show, perhaps. But
Let's skateboard.
yeah.
So Judith, real quick, let's back up a little bit. So you were, and as well.
Thank you.
And something else that we haven't done is we actually haven't introduced our special guest, and this is Miss Ellen Berryman, who is absolute legendary skates in terms of the world of skateboarding.
I am in awe to be here with her.
And we are beyond
skateboard
honored
royalty.
to have her.
World champion. World champion.
And Judith or Jude, I apologize.
You can call me. You go either way. I go both ways.
So Jude, when you moved up to California, you ended up connecting with Ellen with skateboarding and all of that. But I would like to just take a step back to where you were skating Hallover and all of that. And I think we just need to try to run a little bit more of a timeline on this. So you were skating Hallover, but how did you end up getting sponsored? How did you end up getting connected with Brewer? You know, you kind of talked about that you were riding for Brewer and you did a tour with them, but how did that connection actually happen?
I think they saw me at a contest. You know, I think I was at that weird contest at Scott Park, and they saw me, or it was an introduction. It's been a while, I have to tell you. You guys may remember everything because you talked about it 40 times over, but I don't really remember exactly what happened. But I'm glad it did. You know, it was exciting. I remember telling my mom, I'm going to Cocoa Beach for the weekend. Bye. She's like, okay. She just let me go, you know. We went to Cocoa. We went surfing. It was the demonstration at Disney World. I mean, it's just all that fun. Surfed it, you know, fun. The guys were being guys, you know, but it was good. It was good. But meeting them, I have no idea. Like, you know, now when a kid gets, okay, that's the shot. That's that contest at Scott Park. But when a kid,
wait. Look, you're like 3 fucking feet high. This is no bullshit. Look at how tall. I mean, and the guy in the back with his arms crossed. Damn it.
It's like, I could probably do that. Love the helmet. Love the helmet there. Yeah, that really helped out.
They made you wear helmets.
Yeah, the CCM Pro Guard.
Do you see my special skate shoes?
Oh, yeah. See that.
It's the Ellen Berryman model, right?
Ellen Berryman Vans.
So you end up getting hooked up with Brewer. You going on tour, you know, around the state. Did you do any touring outside of Florida and with the Brewer team or anything of that?
No. It was just that. It was really just that one time, and I would, you know, unbeknownst to me at the time, I was pretty much going to be picking up and going to California right after that. I didn't know it at the time, but I had an opening to go.
So was that your parents moving out there? How did that happen?
Actually, I had a sister that moved to Cardiff by the Sea, and that was again, it was divine intervention of the next level of skateboarding. I know that staying in Florida would have been great too, but I had the opportunity and I went with it. So I got to do that one tour with Brewer, got the equipment, got the pad, helmet.
Swag's always good.
Lots of swag. And a lot of good memories. And, there were some challenges, but it was a really, really great experience. And it's the reason why I started when I went on to the Central Florida Facebook group. And I said, hey, guy, I introduced myself. And, and it's mostly guys, and you're like and so I think that's when I heard about the Florida Skateboard Hall of Fame. And so I decided to go to the website, and I don't even know what I said. Tim, you got the email from me.
I do. Would you like me to read it to you?
No. You could, but I knew that people are going to see other shit.
Oh yeah, don't fucking cuss.
People are going to see some stuff online, but I didn't want to. It wasn't about me tooting my own horn. It was about like, hey guys, you got a girl, a female that was part of that. I don't live there anymore, but I'm so stoked to see that this is going on. I think it was a stoked. You go ahead and read it if you want to, but don't.
So I just wanted to, no, I'm not gonna go through that, but I wanted to share how I came to know Jude was obviously I'm on the board for the Florida Skateboard Hall of Fame, and after after the event last year, a couple of months had passed. I haven't, I basically hung up for the night or for a couple of months after the event, checked, signed out, and I was like, I'm done. I don't want to think about this for a while. So I open up my email, and there's this email from Jude, and it was just like, hey, I'm of Florida background. I grew up in Miami. I skated all over, and I was like, whoa, this is a pretty tenacious woman to go, hey, you know what? I'm here. See me over here, which was honestly to me inspiring, because it's like, you know what? It is the way that I looked at it was in doing my research on Jude. Come to find out that she had moved to California and became, somebody that was recognized in the sport as, at a point in time when nobody from Florida, or barely anybody from Florida, had actually gone on and made something of their skateboarding in the state of California. And just the inspiration that she had, obviously far outside of just Florida, I was like, how can you argue about a woman that was on the cover of the National Skateboard Review? That's just not something that you can even, I don't know. I maybe I'm just being a little bit in awe, but that to me that was amazing. You cannot deny the importance of having been on the cover and the influence that you had of being on the cover of a national skateboarding publication at that point in time. And
it was a ripping shot too. That was really cool. It wasn't just here's a girl skating. Like here's a girl crushing it.
So this to me,
Carlsbad Skate Park,
it was just wow. And I was floored, I was blown away, and I was inspired. And when it came time for this year's round of nominations, I was like, you know what? I'm going to throw her hat in the ring, because it's hard to deny when you have that kind of documented proof of what you did in skateboarding. And to me, honestly, because of that, that's why you're here. That's why you're here today.
No, wait. You're here today because of what you did. Tim just recognized it. Let's be clear on that.
Well, absolutely. But I'm saying, but because there is documented proof of what you actually did, that made all the difference in terms of why you are being recognized in this as well. Is because hey, you know what? Not only was there so few women actually skateboarding, how many of them actually have documentation of showing that they actually did? I mean, obviously, Ellen, you have some yourself, but just the fact that you had something to show, and it's ripping skateboarding at that. So to me, that was why I threw your hat into the ring. And I want to say thank you for reaching out to us, because without that, I don't know when we would have ever even heard of you. And to me, it's just inspiring, and to read about, what your life has been, and after moving out to California, and doing all of your skateboarding things, what you have come to do, and what you have come to, champion, was just inspiring. And I just want to say thank you. And thank you for reaching out to us.
Well,
It really meant a lot. And I'm glad that my my fellow inductees saw the same thing.
well, thank you. Like I said, like it's an honor. We're having a local event here. My friends are like, you're doing that?" I'm like, "Florida?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "We're having a party." I'm like, "Okay." Um, it was supposed to be, well, it was supposed to be on the 5th, actually, but we're gonna be rescheduling it just before January. But anyway, but as far as Source is concerned, Source started for me when I left Florida, and my sister was living in Cardiff by the Sea, and all I had was a skateboard and a surfboard and a backpack. I'll never forget that when I went to high school, and I went to high school at San Diego Senior High. Now it's called San Diego Academy, and I was in I took gymnastics and other things. I love doing it. I love pike. I love some things, and I met a particular wonderful human being who saw that I was a skateboarder, and out of our relationship, introduced me to all sorts of wonderful people that helped kind of open up the my world. I had a kind of, my I didn't really have much of a strong family experience. I didn't. I had parents they were there, but they were also very ill, and they were very kind of in and out of engagement. No drugs, no alcohol, just they had their challenges. So skateboarding was my, not just my escape, but it was my energy. It was my North Star, if you will. So Ellen Berryman was my school chum, and she invited me to join her on all kinds of things, from practicing with the Bain team, and getting equipment from them, and joining a skateboard show. And I would just want to shut up and just listen to what Ellen has to say about it, because she's much more eloquent than I am.
Well, at San Diego High School, where we met in gymnastics class, that school, there were a lot of skaters there. There was Greg Weaver, Robin Logan was there.
Wow.
Wow, yeah.
And a little bit later, Tony Hawk was there for a while. And I think that there's still some pro skaters today that go to that school.
Wow.
Yeah.
What is it about that school that generated that kind of
It's North County.
Location.
It,
Okay, yeah, holy crap.
North
That
San
area.
Diego County. Yeah, it was a real center there. And
Hotbed.
And there was Torrey Pines, and then there was San Diego, and then there was Carlsbad. So I'm sure they all have their, but
San
Cardiff,
Diego had the most. It was
yeah,
yeah.
it was great.
I always admire communities that make an effort to do something like San Diego did, where they had parks. There was a lot of good parks, right, and places to go, and they didn't arrest everybody or whatever. It just seemed to be an energy center.
Yeah. There's also the Bain skateboard factory was there in Encinitas.
Right.
and the Logans who were making their boards there too for a while. Loganerski.
Right,
So,
yeah,
So,
classic. Sheesh.
yeah.
so just to step back for just a second. So you started off. So your first real setup was a brewer board of some sort, probably solid oak. Is that right? Do you remember back
Back then,
that
the
far?
board, I think it was laminated back then.
Okay, so
The
that
only
was
solid
early.
oak board I ever had was Loganerski, and
Yeah, they were late to the dance on laminate, but that's okay.
yeah, but then what happened was I stopped before I was, you know, discovered by Bruce Logan at Surf to Earth, I think at like around 17 and a half years old. I was riding for Bain because Ellen, of course, introduced me, and that's the board I rode at the photo shoot
Right.
that's on the cover.
And that's a laminate board with
Yes.
looks like mid tracks and
Yeah, it's like an 8 3/4, 32.
yo-yos. What was the wheel back then?
You know what?
White snakes? Maybe yo-yo. That's probably yo-yos.
They look like yo-yos. They could have been that, or they could be like a light green because it's black and white. It could have been like a maybe a they didn't make yellow kryptonites. They're always green, right? So it's got to be a
They made yellows, but they weren't really available outside Boulder, Colorado.
Oh, yeah. I just like my socks. I want those socks back. Those are really good socks.
Well, if you like those
socks.
There's actually a website called skatesocks.com, and they make a ton of high.
Of course there is.
They make the old school tube socks with 3 stripes on them.
Hell yeah.
But you know, I love the appropriate location where that mogul is beneath my tuchus.
Yes, exactly.
I notice it.
So speaking of that, I want to.
Speaking what, or tuchus or what?
No. Of the mogul field that was in Carlsbad.
I love that mogul field.
I've got a couple of photos here, or I should say, I got a photo here that I want to just take a look at, and let's talk about like what the layout of the park was, because like so many of us that lived in Florida, we didn't really get to experience that park, because we never went there. And honestly, it was gone by the time that any of us went out there.
There was no internet. There was no instant anything.
There was a couple of photos here and there, and that was really about it. There wasn't a whole lot going on.
Well, we didn't have a distinction of what a half pipe was back then. It wasn't until Del Mar opened up, and that was probably a year later, maybe more. But it had a big bowl, which I didn't spend a whole lot of time in. It was always busy, but I liked. There was one run where it had a wave lip that it was a little bit overhanging. Is that it? Is that the big bowl, or is that the way? Yeah. Yes. Where did you? I'm getting excited. But it literally, you wouldn't notice it because you didn't ride your body over it, but your legs would always go over vertical and then bring it around here, and then you would hit. It was a run. It was a really very fun run type of a park.
I love the traffic
pump tracks now. It looks like a pump track. That'd be fun.
Yeah, pump tracks are, that's kind of like in some ways what it was, but it had moguls. It had a lot of smooth. I like what.
Why not? Why can't a pump track have moguls? Who cares?
Well, they did.
Right.
Exactly. That's the whole thing about a pump track. Yeah.
I haven't used that. We don't have one in our town. George, why don't we build a pump track out here? What do you think?
Let's get it done.
And actually, I want to ask you both about this particular photo, because I'm pretty certain that this particular part of the park was was where so many famous photos, including the photo of Bruce Walker that we use on our logo for the Florida Skateboarding Hall of Fame. I believe that this is where that photo, this section was where that photo was taken.
Bring it on. We want to see it.
Oh, hey, man, I got to do a little
Hey.
setup as well as I got
That's
to
right.
open the damn thing.
Oh.
But it was taken from the opposite side of it. And do you recall this section of the park?
What is that?
That is a section, at least as I understand it, of Carlsbad.
No.
That doesn't look like Carlsbad to me. I thought you were showing a Florida park.
I thought you were showing a Florida park.
Fascinating. Because the photo that okay, interesting. Okay.
Well, you know, wait a minute. There was a second section that was developed that might have maybe had something like that, but I never went. I think it was starting. You know, when you would first walk into that clubhouse, I think there was something being developed, and I just vaguely recall that.
On the other side.
You
Yeah.
all those. You guys were off to the
We weren't
races.
smoking anything. I swear to you, we weren't smoking a thing.
And neither were we.
Yeah, exactly. I read about it. And
you know, if you want to see somebody who's pretty blissed out, watch my face when I'm riding. I was so blissed out. I think it had something to do with that, but I don't think so. You know, I think it was a lot of good things. But no, I think that's exactly, if it is Carlsbad, that could have been this kind of upper area. But the only person who can solidify that is Mr. O'Malley.
But you enjoyed the moguls area of Carlsbad. Something about that was just worked your body well or something.
Yes, it was. It was a good workout. I don't even remember Surf to Earth. I don't even. I barely remember Del Mar. Except that Del Mar did have a kink in the half pipe. I remember that honestly because that hurt.
Well, it's a sense of place, and that's what that park did for you. It's a sense of place, and that's great.
Del Mar's half pipe was
no coping, no late drops, nothing. Just a lot of fun, and skateboarding. I think at its most core was wasn't very competitive there. I had a boyfriend that worked at the park, and his name was Chucky, and he I skated better than he did.
So about that same time, so Spring Valley came on shortly after this. Did you spend any time in Spring Valley?
Over at the Spring Valley, you mean the reservoir?
No, there's actual skate park, Spring Valley Skate Park. That was where the very first professional pool riding contest happened.
Oh yeah, but I would be gone. I would be on my way to Cardiff.
Okay.
Or something
speaking of
no, actually, wait, I'm already in there. Wait, I'm sorry. No, I don't. I do recall it. I do recall Upland was. I mean, there was a lot more skate parks popping up around that time.
Right.
But Spring Valley was just not in my vernacular.
Right.
What's
this shot here?
Very, very fun pool.
So tell us about this shot and tell us about this whole breakdown of who shot these photos and when about was this?
This is 77-ish. There was a couple of photo shoots with Lance Smith, and he would go by the nomenclature called Freelance Smith. And he was the photographer for National Skateboard Review as well as many others. He continues to live in Carlsbad now, California, and he still does photography.
Does he do
shot a lot of ads.
Photography?
Excuse me?
Is he shot a lot doing skateboarding photography?
I think he does. I think if you go to his, I don't know if he has a website.
We got to get him on our show.
He's great.
Yeah. If I recall correctly, he did a lot of photography for Skateboard World after the National Skateboard Review. I know that he had. I mean, I remember picking up those magazines and seeing his name all over them.
All over.
But he was also shooting.
Bolster had his thing, and he had his thing. But he's pretty laid back, very laid back guy.
He shot a bunch of ads too, didn't he? He would do shoot ads and then do some of the layout for some of the ads, if I remember right.
I believe so.
You just don't have parks with all that chain link fence like they used to put up.
That's awesome.
I wanted to share this one because, in particular, because you were talking about how your boyfriend was didn't like the fact that you were ripping. Well, I mean, that says it all.
Yeah, nobody.
That's ripping right there.
Oh,
He's not afraid to go front side, that's for sure.
It wasn't okay. Okay, so we weren't doing a double ollie on the vertical at the time, guys. I know, but this was fun. This is fun.
Well,
Land-
and honestly,
still fun.
in 1977, this was still pretty state of the art for that period of time.
It
Oh
was.
yeah.
So the fact that you were skating at that level, obviously just warranted why you ended up on the cover of the National Skateboard Review.
And a female.
And a female.
And
Very
these still shots don't really capture what beautiful style she has.
Absolutely.
She's so smooth.
You know,
Can-
Kim Cespedes and Laura Thornhill were my heroes. I mean, Kim especially. She had an amazing surf
Yes.
look. And she still does, I'm sure.
Oh yeah,
still-
she went to San Diego too for a while. So
Wow, I didn't
So
know
if
that.
you look, I mean, look at the style here.
The
You've got,
style is
there's
insane.
no cheating there. There's no butt down. There's no dragging the other hand over.
Aw,
So this
you
is
guys
a
are
good
just-
solid bird.
Larry
It's a bird.
Berryman.
That's
Wow.
definitely a bird. You know, I met
Absolutely.
Larry when I lived in Hawaii. He's a nice guy. But what was going on around the same time, I'm just remembering this right now, is that there was some guy, I can't remember his name, but he was a guy who made claymation animation, and he was taking photos this similar days we were there doing this, and I think he might have hooked up with Lance at the time, and he needed a girl, excuse me, skateboarding in order for him to figure out how to do his clay sculptures, which he would make skateboard. And I saw it one day. I saw the video, and I don't know. I can't remember his name. But very, very cool at the
So
time.
the early days, putting the white balls all over Tony Hawk for the video game, kind of he needed the
Before that.
white.
Yeah, way before that.
The early days. But
But
it's
you
the
know,
same story. He's trying to
No,
collect the data.
Am I misremembering this? Wasn't oh God, what was the name of there was a movie on skateboarding at that point in time, and if I'm not mistaken, they had a segment that was claymation. I wonder if it was that guy.
Like Wilbur Koopmeyer type.
it could. You know, I remember seeing that, and I just can't remember. He was he was a serious claymation artist.
Skateman?
I can't remember.
Do you recall that, George, at all?
Yeah, it was that skateboard. That was Skateboard Madness.
Skateboard Madness?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sure.
I wonder if
Somebody's
that
got
was
some
the guy.
homework. Somebody's got some homework here.
I'm going to do that right now while we're
Skateboard
talking.
Oh shit!
Doing it.
Because that's fascinating,
Yeah. And I'm just remembering in this right now in the
Interesting.
conversation, because there was, there's so many layers that kind of get buried because you're not really having the conversation.
So
Nobody in California.
was he watching your moves and he was going to take those photos?
And I saw it. I remember seeing it one day. I mean,
That's so cool.
I was at his house or something, and there he was, and I saw it. It's really cool.
That's
all right.
fun.
Well, here, just for the sake of doing it, I'm going to hold on one second, guys.
Are you gonna do it?
Get some of that artificial intelligence working there, Tim, and figure out where it is. We'll
I have no intelligence.
bring it up instantly.
Even if I had artificial.
Oh my gosh.
I got it coming right now.
Look,
I got
I'm
it coming
still-
right now.
Ellen, what do you got there?
What do we got?
Oh, I
Wait,
lost her.
Ellen.
Put
Ellen was doing-
put it right at the camera.
Wait. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, there it is, a claymation thing through a tunnel.
Yeah, this is a little bit later, but yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, there. The rat.
So you modeled for that, Jude?
No, I don't know.
Not the rat.
No, I mean this is. I don't think this is. Who knows? I can't remember what and who and what.
Who's the artist, Tim? Who did this?
I'll find that out. I just wanted to share that.
It is so cool.
My memory wasn't like failing me by any stretch. But if there's somebody that was, obviously filming and taking photos of people skating.
Yeah, look at that. That's great. Look
And
at
using, and that also was a claymation artist. Who else could it be?
I don't know.
God.
I literally, that was lost in the annals of my brain until this conversation. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So anyway,
I know.
Wait a minute.
I'll quit sharing.
Jude, you got some kind of musk implant in your brain, and you're sending this to us now as a visual. That's amazing.
That's amazing. Thank you.
That's some artificial intelligence there. Wow.
But yeah, I would be curious. I wonder if it's. I'm going to look on IMDb and see if there's actually credits for that to find out, and I'll share that name with you if I find it. But
I would not remember his name. It was like an Ed or something, but so cool. I remember. Cool. Yeah, he came there, and I was introduced. It might have been Lance that said, "Hey, this guy told this guy about you, and he wants to take some photos."
Oh, Lance might know. When Lance is on the show, we're gonna pin him to answer us.
Lance should be on the show. We should have invited Lance anyway. I didn't,
I wonder if Lance ever made it to Florida and shot any photos.
I don't know. He has a great memory. I'm sure he remembers. He's still in North County.
So I have a quick question for Ellen as well. Have you ever made any trips out to Florida?
Ever what?
Have you ever made any skate trips out to Florida?
Oh yes, there was a contest in 1978, and I don't have many brain cells working, so I can't even remember the
Kona
name.
Nationals is probably Kona.
Sounds like Kona.
Yes, it was Kona.
Kona Nationals.
Yeah. So now you gotta go back.
Di Dudson was there.
Me? You don't remember meeting me there?
I barely remember anything there. I broke my arm there.
I want to tell you, Ellen, I got a lot of Super 8 footage of that contest. Di Dudson was there, interviewed her, and Ed's got that. Maybe we can dig in there. Do you remember anything about what your number was, or what you're wearing, or something like that?
There was a freestyle event, and there were just all the women had to skate against the men, and there were just a couple women, and I was the only woman who made it into the finals.
All right, because back then with Super 8, you could only do like 3 minutes on a roll, and it was expensive. But I got some. Maybe we'll dig in there. That'd be cool if you were. But we have stuff of that whole contest when Di was there, and he got interviewed on the TV show and all that stuff. Alva was there. It was a big deal.
Yeah, everybody was.
The guy running the contest had a black and white like houndstooth jacket, and Di was hanging out with her red, white, and blue sunglasses on. I do remember it, but I will have to track it down and see if I can find it. If there's any. I remember Bobby Piercy wiggling around. And
and was it Greg Mershide was trying to work that giant ramp that was off in the back?
Is that just here today, Bobby Piercy wiggling?
Bobby Piercy was a brewer skater.
I got a story.
Wait a minute. Our guest of honor has a story. Shut up.
I got a story about Cardiff had. I think the skate park had opened, but we sometimes didn't want to go all the way out to Carlsbad, and Bobby Piercy lived on the top of the hill above Birmingham in Cardiff by the Sea, and it was this bomb hill, and at the very bottom of the hill is like a 20-foot ramp, and after anything past the ramp was just it was just a big canyon. So if you went off the ramp, you're effed. And I would skateboard that every day. I loved it. I didn't get to the very top. I was not that interested in dying, but I never forget. I ate it so bad. I had not adjusted my trucks on this hill, and I ate it. I left so much on the roadway that I still don't even have feeling in that. I don't. It's like
Memories.
Don't feel it.
That's awesome.
It happens in front of Bobby Piercy's house. Bobby says he barely comes out of the house. Bobby's kind of Bobby, and may he rest in peace. And he doesn't even come out. He doesn't say, "Do you need any help?" Nothing like that. He expects me to. I couldn't skate. I couldn't surf for like days. I couldn't. Every time I put on a wetsuit, it rip off because it was just everywhere. But Bobby was Bobby, and then he was on the skateboard show. There was Ellen got me into the team. Thank you, Ellen, again. And which was there was a national skateboard show. Ellen, what was the name of it called?
At one point, it was Skateboard Space Spectacular.
Yeah. Wow.
It also had another name. Yeah.
It was March of 77 or maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
And I did the one show at Santa Monica Civic. And at that show where everybody you're seeing in this photo right now.
Gordon Lightfoot?
Stop
it.
So in the front row there, is that Kim Cespedes?
Second row.
Second row.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, there it is. Who is that next to you?
I don't know who that is.
Michael Williams is on one side.
Bobby's right behind me. Bobby Piercy's right behind me.
Bobby Piercy's behind you, yeah.
Dennis Martinez.
And Dennis Martinez.
Oh, yeah, Mike Williams. Oh my God, that is. Holy cow. Yeah, I skated for Gullwing for a while and got to hang out with Mike quite a bit.
No, Mike's
Russ
awesome.
and then they had a roller skater guy. What was roller skater guy's name?
Kenny Means.
Kenny Means.
Yeah, Kenny Means.
Yeah.
Kenny Means, another Brewer skater. He was on the Brewer team.
And if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Kenny was the guy that developed the side stance?
Yep.
Yeah.
And Ellen knows how to do product placement. That's all the takeaway. Ellen knows product.
Gotta get paid.
The only one who's not
dedicated. Yeah, Spotsy.
But wearing her San Diego Zoo T-shirt.
Yeah.
Wah, wah, wah.
That was before we started. We started practicing for a show that was going to be ramps and freestyle and some vert, I think. And it was my first thing I ever did. That was a paid gig. I was so excited just to be part of it. I remember it was the weekend of Easter, so the next day would be like we would spend the night and then we would leave. Everything was closed or something. But if you go back to the photo for a second.
I will 1 second. Just 1 second.
Go ahead. Go ahead. There was a woman that one of Bobby Piercy's girlfriends or something like that, and I don't know her.
There were so many.
There were so many.
Which one?
Allegedly.
I was.
Anyway, she couldn't skate. Really, she was not a very poor skateboarder. How she got on the team was probably just because of Bobby. She's right to the right of Ellen. That gal.
Well, now we got to put black tape over her eyeballs, so we don't know who you're talking about.
Exit out.
I believe it would be her.
She lost control of her board when we were doing practicing, and it pierced right straight through my ankle. I had blood. It was blood everywhere. We had to get stitches.
Wait a minute. What happened?
We were doing crisscrosses, and we just. I don't know. We were doing ramp to ramp crisscrosses, getting ready for the show. Kind of easy stuff. And then she really couldn't skate. Was in it, just didn't have any balance really. And she fell off the board, and the board it beamed me right in the ankle, and it split my ankle open.
Oh no! So would that explain
You
this
can look at
face?
those.
No, this.
Man, is that the guilty one right there?
Watch out.
No, that's not. That's me. That's me being cute and little. No, this could have been before or after. I don't know. I can't remember.
Sorry.
This was just as you got hit. That's what it is.
My performance was.
Look at her knee pads. You can tell she's not a skater.
They were brand new. They were 6 months old.
You couldn't skate.
Never used them.
And I tell people I don't want to, talk ill of anybody, but she could not. She had no reason being there other than I think she was Bobby Piercy's flame for the.
Well, I hope that she watches the show.
Howdy, ma'am. Welcome to the South.
And just tell her to turn up her hearing aid because she's probably old.
She may confirm or deny that. You're
Right.
like, yep, you're right.
It was like that was like my big break, and I had to split up. But it was okay. I still was able to skate. A little bit of blood here and there, but nothing too bad. I mean, that's what skateboarding. I mean, if anything, hanging out with the guys, you had a toughness about you. You didn't have to worry about. If you cried, you cried, but you just had you toughed it out.
Well, you broke the glass ceiling for a lot of women because now it's 50-50 or more female. I don't know. It just seems like a lot of females are out there looking beautiful, riding on these new slopes and things. So thank you very much. I mean,
yeah, they're getting paid back then. I mean, that's something that's a big deal because in Florida we got flow if we were lucky. There was not many people getting paid.
Mostly everything.
How many high schools were there in California? And you picked the best one, and you met Ellen, the nicest one. And I mean, how much fate is that? That is just amazing.
Really?
I walk into this high school, the best fucking high school in the planet to go to. If you're
Does that high school have a half pipe or a little recreational skate area? They should.
They skate in the parking lot. Everybody brought the skateboards to school.
Back then, there weren't that many ramps. There were some ramps on Montgomery Street.
Yeah,
I remember. Couple.
Yeah, there was one on Santa Fe for a while.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
But now at the high schools, you can take PE, skateboarding and PE. And I remember this because McGill's kids, when they were going to school, he lives in Encinitas, his kids their last class of the day would be at the skate park. And that was their PE class.
That would be San Diego. That would be
great exercise. That's good.
And so the kids would get bussed over there. They actually would have a bus to bring them to the skate park. The kids would skate, and they'd skate for an hour or two, and then Mike could go pick up his kids at the skate park instead of having going to the school.
Well, I think Tony Hawk might have been the first one to do that because in high school, I had a counselor. And after I graduated from high school, I ran into him. And Tony Hawk was at the high school at the same time. And he told me that he had gotten Tony to be able to get extra special credit for skateboarding.
Oh, wow.
That's fantastic.
That's a good story there. That's great.
Yeah.
I've been pushing for this skate park tutorial thing where people come, and on Tuesday's tutorial day, and you can do gravity, you can do angles, geometry, all these chemistry of concrete. You can learn all about the stuff that you're interested in, and I thought that'd be a wonderful thing because
I just gotta I was an emancipated minor, so at 17 I was on my own, and I was for a minute living with my mom, but then I was free to roam. I was emancipated means that you're able to live on your own, sign your own stuff. You don't have to have parental approval for anything, and there wasn't any parental.
They didn't have all that crap back then. That was
like crazy, yeah.
Right, but the people I met and the opportunities that came my way, and a lot of it because of you, Ellen, and Lance and Diane, Di Dudson, Di's work with at the core national work towards recognizing the sport early on and amplifying the contests and the sport itself, giving people a voice, giving women a voice, and a view. It was unheard of at the time, for me, a kid. I mean, for a long time I was living in I was having the life. But I was at San Alejo campgrounds for a school season. It was great,
Well, Di certainly made it heard. She got the word out, and that's excellent.
He hired me as my first job.
Good wait. Kind of statement there. That's nice.
Wait, Phil, hold on a minute.
What?
You worked for Di?
She, I think that I was introduced to her at some point. Either it could have been Lance from the skate park or from Ellen. I can't remember, but she offered me a job to become her shipping coordinator. And there's a picture of me, I think, in the it's cool. She sent it to me recently. Let me try to pull it up. And
So,
there's a
so you're living in a KOA campground and working at a skateboard review magazine and
well, it
going to
wasn't
high school.
KOA. It's state parks. This
Oh,
is
better,
this
better.
is that's me
Okay.
In the
working
shipping department.
guy.
All right. Well, there you
Ow.
And then
Breaking
one day
just
she
a
comes
piece
up
of
to me.
that.
She comes up to me and she says, "I want to put you on the cover. Will you show up at Carlsbad and do a photo shoot with Lance?" And I'm like, "Yes, I will." And so,
Yes.
yes, I would.
Sounds good.
Well, of course.
Matter
Why
of fact,
wouldn't
yes.
But again, none of it really mattered to a kid. To a kid, none of it really matters. You're just happy to skate.
Absolutely. So Jude, let's please and everyone, please send that photo because I would love to include that in your video.
You already have.
It is in it. I did send it to you, I think, but
Okay, you know what? You and I need to have a phone call anyway, so I'll give you a call. We can talk offline about other things, but so not that it was like the end of your skateboarding, but I mean to some extent it was. Let's talk about like where did you start to fall off? Where did you start to have a little bit of a disconnect with it?
well, that was a crazy year. I think 17 to 18, and I think a little bit past 18 was a crazy year because we were doing skateboard tours. I had my boyfriend at the time, another boyfriend at the time. We were going up and down the California coast, going all the way up to Mendocino and hitting parks along the way, and Winchester and places like that. But skateboarding was sort of dying out. I remember going to Surf to Earth, meeting Bruce Logan at the time, and he said, "I want to make," and I'll never forget it. I'm not embellishing this. I swear to God. He says, "I want to make you the next Laura Thornhill." And and I could think in the back of my mind I'm like, yeah, right. because, because Laura had already been, the contests were already not happening as much. I think there was a lot less going on. There was not going to be as much visibility. But I loved it. It was great. I think it was a party conversation we had, but if you know what I mean, if you know Bruce, but back then, but it was fun. And then I would go back to their uh, to their warehouse. I got equipment, and it was great for a minute. And then I don't know things. I just decided I just wanted to filter out my life into surfing more.
Well, I think
But
it's not untypical of the people that were running parks would felt the transition to away from skateboarding for a couple of
right.
years there, and
But then
none
later
could
on, I would
survive.
meet the Sims rep on a skateboard tour, and they gave me equipment, and all of a sudden you're riding for Sims, and that was great. And then I had all my equipment. I took all my skateboard stuff. I put it in a box, and I put it in a friend's house. I moved to Hawaii. My sister was living in the North Shore. I didn't have. I was still, I think, late 17. I would go move to Rocky Point, to Aokai Beach, and other places around there. It was a sketchy time to be 17 and a haole with very little money, but we went, and it was great. But I didn't bring my boards with me.
Yeah, right.
And when I came back after that winter, which was amazing, I had stand up tube rides. I didn't even realize I could do that.
This is at Rocky Point, or
Yes,
where'd you get?
yeah,
Holy,
Rocky Point.
that's legit.
I know. It was
Awesome.
great. I know. I remember the first time somebody said, "You disappeared." I'm like, "Okay, I like that." So came back, my stuff was gone. Somebody had moved the house, all my equipment's gone. And that's sort of like that, kind of like when you ask the question, when did it come to an end? That's when it came to an end. And I'm like, I didn't have any more stuff, you know?
So
And I wasn't gonna go, beg it,
Yeah,
So I didn't have
I want to make a pitch for Boards for Bros right now. because here you are with no equipment, and you're going, oh man, I'd love to be able to skate, but skateboards are expensive and stuff. And for a young person to have Boards for Bros hand them a skateboard when they're young, it's like a big deal. It just opens the world. And it's my Boards for Bros commercial.
You mentioned you skated for Sims for a hot minute.
Yeah,
the guy that probably their team manager at the time was Rob Robinson. Who also was the inventor of the Robinac pack, which everyone had, which was cool as hell. But Rob Robinson he's still around. He was in the renewable energy business along with me. He retired a few years ago, but he's still around, still cool as hell guy, still a fantastic cat.
Still got the airplane tags on my Robinac pack.
And I keep on telling him, it's like, Rob, you got to you got to reissue the Robinac packs. They will sell. People just love those things. But
I just remember the ads for those things. You're going, ooh, I want one. Ooh, I want one. That photo of Doug DeMontmorency doing the frontside arrow over Brad Bowman's legs, I was like, man, I want that bag.
Well, the crazy part is that if you were really cool, you had 2 Robinacs. And that's how Bowman used to show up at the skate park, with 2 Robinacs. He'd be like,
there's only one Brad Bowman.
Yes. But anyway, sidebar. Sorry, Judith, I had to jump in there. But that's everyone's got a Sim story, and
yeah.
So you lived in Hawaii and you didn't get to skate wallows?
Oh God, that looked.
Oh, thank God.
There was a half pipe. There was a wooden half pipe for sure, but I didn't have my skates with me. Surfing was a big challenge then for me. I mean, surfing Hawaii size was much bigger, much more of a challenge. People in Hawaii, when they say it's 2 feet in Hawaii, they go, oh, it's 2 feet. It's really like 5 feet.
Right.
And, so when they say it's 3 to 5, it's like 5 to 7,
Overhead. Yeah.
It's very overhead. I loved it.
So did you surf here in Florida as well, or did you pick that up?
Fort Lauderdale, Cocoa Beach, New Smyrna. For like a minute here, a minute there, I was going to be going. That last year was from 16 to 17 was like zoom, 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 zoom. Things are happening, cracking, and then the opportunity to move to Cardiff by the Sea, I grabbed it.
For sure.
I didn't mind the flat.
What do you say to girls that are 17 that want to get involved in any sport, but it's like they're the minority, and somehow you got to get your mind right to dive in on it and not be intimidated? What do you tell them?
Right now, I think there's so much conversation and so much positive media and conversation about skateboarding for girls and the entry to be a part of it. There's just anywhere they look, there's clubs, zines, podcasts. Ellen, what's the name of that woman's skateboard podcast or blog that she does out of Canada?
I don't remember her name.
I can't remember. She featured myself and a few of our friends and Claire Glavin, and right now, like everything in the culture, I think anything that you want to push, you have it right in front of you. And if guys say something like, you can't skate at our park, you can't drop in, they just have to just say, no, I'm going in.
There you go. Nice.
Put your board
I just feel bad for some women around the world that are just being beat up because of whatever. And here, you're an inspiration that, yes, you could overcome all that. So,
it's like there's having some issues right now with Afghanistan and women's rights. It's pretty horrendous. But there was a time where there was a skateboard. A girl was skateboarding in her, and I don't know whatever happened to that, but it's
yeah, Afghanistan was a really cool organization, or is a really good organization.
Yeah, they're struggling right now.
So let's talk about now. What is your inspiration and what is your motivator now? Besides getting into the Florida Hall of Fame.
Oh, right now. Well, I'm gearing up for surfing winter here. I just turned 64, so
Happy birthday!
Hey.
You too.
Thank you. Who else had a birthday?
George Brio.
I just turned 64 as well. So,
oh my God!
How about that?
We got to go out dancing. We just got to go do that. Skateboarding. I am before the induction. I promised myself I'm going to go out, go skateboarding on the streets. Not going to the parks. Maybe I might. I brought both my boards with me. Where's my other board?
Well, you don't want to come away with a broken arm like Ellen did last time she was at Kona.
Here's my cab.
Ah,
You're just
yay.
going to give me a board that's 14 inches, you said?
No, 12. We'll get you set up with something. We'll take a look and see what works for you.
I've got a few things.
I'd love to try something lighter. I think for freestyle, a lighter board would be really good. Can't do freestyle.
Try a variety of board. That's what Paul Schmidt was saying. He says people, they get suckered into the board at the store, but really you got to think of what's the board for you for what you want to do, and get a quiver.
As you see what's behind me on my screen, I kind of do that every now and then.
Yeah.
Well, it's very much like it used to not be, but it's very much like surfing. You need to get the right board for the place you're surfing and for how big you are, and if it floats you right or not. When you get to Kona, you got to figure out: am I skating the pool? Am I skating the bank slalom? Or am I skating this big flow bowl that they built a 6-foot wall in the end of? And I think you'd be fine. All you have to do is use your head.
Yeah. I think a great goal would be is if you can. I want to see you hauling ass down the snake run. That's what I want to see.
I want to see that Berryman. That's what we need to see. We need to see the Berryman.
You guys better bring boards for Alan and I, because we're not packing boards.
I don't think we'll have a problem with
that. We're doing carry on.
Basically,
one of the things I'm thinking about doing, I teach surfing here occasionally, and I'm thinking about starting a early stage strategy of starting a surfing school for seniors, which I am one.
Good call.
Back in
get a discount with your double
in 2002, I started a surfing club for the California Women's Surfing Club. We did festivals and contests and a lot of things like that. We had a really great time doing things like that. That's at one of the contests. It's I actually helped produce it and direct it, and then I competed in it. And that was, by the way, that is the end of the day when the conditions for the finals are
mush burgers.
Oh, it's mush.
They weren't.
That was a good wave.
Not 2 to 3.
This is the content. This is the team. This is what we do. But the continuation of that is not continuing as much anymore. We did a lot of fundraisers. In fact, there's a lot of professional skateboarders and surfers would join our fundraising and festivals when we did things. There's me and another professional surfer whose name I miss.
Who are you running the surfing for seniors program through? Like a local community association or college?
It's in its infancy right now. I have no idea. It's just something I kind of came up with recently about how to stay engaged.
That's good, because that'd be great exercise. You got cardio in there. You got muscle training. You got balance. You got all the things that these are senior high school students you're talking about, right? And
we're talking about senior,
not geezers.
Hey,
good. That was very funny. No.
Question. So Jude, I got a question about. So you're running this surfing up in San Francisco area.
Yeah.
So Tim's got a former friend, or Tim's got a friend up there that is a former pro skateboarder, one of the most influential, who spends most of her time surfing now instead of skating. Did you ever run into Alyssa Steamer up there?
The name is really familiar, and I remember hearing her. of
Yeah,
her name,
she
I think, in the
because you
contest.
talk to her now, she's like, yeah, I don't really skate that much. I'm pretty much all
Actually,
about surfing.
that's switched up quite a bit over the last couple of years.
Really?
Oh
I would
yeah,
say that
she
that's
was
kind of like
she was
that is
just in Japan. She went to Australia on a skate trip. She actually had a like she ended up getting a new. I mean, it's got to be about 4 years ago now. They when she kind of came out of the woodwork again, and Baker put her on the team and released a board for her.
Wait, I have a question. How many
Yeah.
times did Alyssa win the X Games?
Oh, Alyssa won the X
Lots.
Games.
How many times? How many times?
Oh, I think the first four
She's
X
got at least
Games.
3. Yeah, I'd say 3 or 4 gold
Just
medals.
trying to give the ladies a little bit of hint into somebody they haven't heard of, really.
So,
they-
to give you a little background, Ella, I'm sure that you've probably heard of Alyssa Stever. Well, she grew up in Fort Myers, Florida, with me, and I met her when she was 9 years old, and I was doing demos at the YMCA summer camp program, and it was literally me and a jump ramp and one other person, and she came up and was like, if I bring my skateboard, can I skate with you guys next time you come? And it was like, it's on. Yes, please.
Hey, good for her.
Two people trying to do a half-hour demo with a jump ramp is exhausting. So to have number one, another person to skate, but then to have a woman, or a young girl come up and be like so stoked on skateboarding, I was like, absolutely. We are still friends to this day. I mean, we talk. I talk with her at least 4 or 5, maybe 6 times a year. But I always see her at Tampa Pro. And any anytime that she ever gets any kind of press, she always gives me props, and I am floored by that, and I'm beyond honored by that.
Misguided woman.
But she was also a character in the Tony Hawk Pro Skater game series, and I mean that was a pretty big move in terms of women skateboarding. Like to be able to put a woman in a video game about skateboarding and put that into the hands of millions of people was just absolutely amazing.
And she got paid.
But to the point of you're surfing at this point, Jude. I think I'm gonna pass along your contact information to Alyssa. I don't know what kind of thing or time frame that she has, but I know that she lives. If I'm not mistaken, her normal break is Pacific Beach. Or if I'm correct in
that
that.
beach is good. That's a great beach. Great
But
beach.
that's more or less her local break.
Yeah.
And she's just an amazing woman, and I think that she would be a great person to talk to about assisting because she's got a great name recognition. She's also an inductee of the Florida Skateboarding Hall of Fame as well.
Yes, she is.
Yeah, and she's just a really, really, really rad woman.
I love it. I love it. Well, in the Central Coast, you don't see as many. You see a lot of women now, but in Northern California and Southern California, it is a zoo. And they've been skateboarding or surfing and any of the board sports for years now. So there's the level of competition, the level of ability is high. I have to fight to like doing yoga and gym and core work. And if I miss like 2 or 3 weeks, I'm like, I can't. I'm like, I'll look down a face and I'm like, no, I'm not going. I'm not going. No. It's my Sally Fields, right? I want to live.
I'm too young to be old. Yeah.
Right.
It's been a wonderful
George,
show here. This has
I'm
been
gonna lean
great.
hard on you, George, for like for inspiration to get back into skateboarding.
Oh, it's still fun. It's truly a lifetime sport.
It really
I've been doing it since I was 13 years old. So
yeah,
that's 25 years now.
But it was
What?
weird,
Just kidding.
Florida.
Is that comply? Nope.
There were very few women, very few girls
Yeah.
in Florida in the 70s. I didn't realize, didn't even kind of connect the brain to it, that there really weren't that many. San Diego had a lot more.
No, we didn't have many women skateboarded.
Wow.
Colleen Yodo was one of our good women at Sensation Basin. But it was difficult for women to break into it. So
Well,
we didn't have the
most of the
folks
dudes
and
are
the moguls and stuff. It was rough. It was difficult.
including myself.
Yeah, let's wrap this sucker up and get the hell out of here. This has been
Did you guys
fun.
ever have a drag division? Sorry.
Holy shit!
No, maybe,
That'd be awesome.
Maybe
dude, I'll back that all day.
We did it when we did the contest for Northern California Women's Surfing Festival. We had a guys division, 2 guys divisions, and one guy was just, they had to be in drag. Guys got so into it, they had extra changes.
Yeah, I'm sorry you couldn't get that to happen, Tim. I'm sorry you're in Florida. California, we can make that happen, but I know what happens.
Yeah, a little difficult.
I don't know. Guys get into it. Straight guys too. I'm sorry.
No. Oh, they get into it. It's just what will the crowds do? It would be accepted out here. I've got a buddy of mine. So they do a running group called Hashing, and the Hashers. So the Hashers, they are huge into drag and costumes, and it's hilarious to see what comes up. So I could hit him up and say, "Hey, Jeff, you want to do an in drag skateboard contest?" He'd be like, "I'm on it, bro."
This whole longboard dancing, the longboard ballet could be in drag. That could be a whole beautiful thing, a whole chorus and entourage down the.
Dan Gesmer out here. Yep, he can hook that shit up.
I'm
in.
Okay. Yes, we are digressing. We are totally digressing. Phil, close us out, my friend.
Oh, okay. Hey, thanks for watching the Skateboarding Bros Show.
Thank you.
There's more to come with Judith and Ellen. And come see us at Kona. You probably already missed it, you dumbasses. But it's going to be awesome. And we're going to be so happy to have Judith, and Jude, all 3 of them, come to Kona and grace our happy Florida flat no wave state. But we're going to be there.
Thank
it's
you.
Be awesome. And we thank
you guys are the best. Thank you. Yay, Florida. Yay.
Skateboard Hall of Fame.
January.
Thank you, Tim. Thanks, Phil. Thanks, Jude. Thanks, George. Thanks, Alan.
You're watching the Skateboarding Bros Show. Stories from the pioneers of skateboarding about the history and the fun of the sport we love.